Hi, so my name is Danielle Mc Grath. I'm currently a third year mental health nursing student in the University of Limerick. So being in third year puts me as part of the 2019 cohort. And as we're all very aware, that means that the majority of my learning experience in nursing has taken place during the course of the pandemic. So right in the middle of my second semester of first year, the pandemic hit, college shut down, we were all online. Everything was locked in. We then came back as second years and we're going on placement. So again, the majority of our placement and healthcare work experience has been in the realms of the pandemic. So when we went on placement in second year, there was obviously all of these protocols that had to be followed, had to be adhered to naturally. But working within the realms of the pandemic as a student nurse obviously brought up its own repertoire of challenges and issues with it. So I can speak from my story and the story of a friend who has been kind enough to tell me his story. So for myself, I know that for one of my placements around this time 12 months ago, I'm living in Limerick and I wasn't driving at the time. I was required to commute out to Clare for some placement sites, and that brought up a lot of issues itself. I work as a healthcare assistant, so for me, I had to give up my job at the time because I wasn't allowed to work in two places at once for the fear of cross contamination, which I understood wholeheartedly, but it was a loss of income. So I then had to figure out a way to be able to afford to commute in and out of Clare for my placement sites. And that brought its own difficulties because it was expensive, but also it was that fear of what am I picking up on public transport? What am I potentially exposing myself or my family to? And for me, I have a sister with asthma. So that was a really big, for the entirety of the pandemic, we were quite nervous and quite careful for that reason. Always terrified of what we were bringing home. So that was a really big emotional drain. I remember there was a lot of days on the bus coming home being very upset, more so just because I just wanted to get off the bus and just wanted to be at home. But the pandemic also resulted in the reduction of public transport. So actually that meant that I couldn't get a bus in the mornings that would get me to placement on time. So I was relying on my grandparents, which was another thing that was terrifying, sitting in the back of the car with two masks on my face. I was being tested regularly because I was just so afraid of giving them something or picking up something and bringing it into a hospital environment. And obviously during the duration of our placement, I did look at potentially moving out to Clare for that period of time, because it would have meant I was kind of protecting the people around me, my loved ones, but it was not financially viable because I wasn't working and because I wasn't paid for placement. So I wasn't able to afford to do that. One of my friends was not so lucky. I live in Limerick, as I said, so I was commuting, as difficult as it was. A friend of mine was from Cork and he would have to commute up and down to Thurles. He would come up on a Monday morning, very, very early on a Monday morning, go to his placements, would stay in a B&B Monday, Tuesday night, Wednesday night as well. On Thursday, then after placement, he'd commute back down to Thurles, from Thurles to Cork. And I'm not sure if you'd be aware, but our allowances for travel and accommodation, the parameters are, if you're within the city limits, so 20 kilometers from the university at our base, it's €16 a week. And if you're above that, it's €50 a week. And although it's something, it's not a lot, and it really doesn't go that far. Petrol prices at the moment are skyrocketing, but they weren't exactly inexpensive a year ago. So that was something as well that was just, for him, I know was a big, big drain, because not only was he paying for petrol, he was paying for the accommodation prices as well. And once you hit that threshold, there's not much wiggle room with it. So that €100 a week made a difference to us, because it was a method of kind of having an income. It was a method of having something that you got reimbursed. You were getting that money back, because it was so difficult to try and afford to commute or to stay somewhere when you weren't working, and you were also terrified of affecting your family members or the people that you care about. And I was given the opportunity by Mark Johnson and Aisling Culhane to speak with the representative who was making the decision on whether that €100 a week was going to be extended. And I told him the exact same stories I'm telling you, because those are the stories of what happened, and they were real and they were upsetting and they were difficult. But as difficult as they were, we got on with them and we did it. And I've always said I'm very proud to be part of the 2019 cohort, because that's something that I've found where we're very much a part of. That is that we'll just get up and do it. We'll just do it. We'll figure it out as we go. We'll sort it. And that was the attitude we had, because we didn't really have any other choice. And that was the attitude of a lot of student nurses. So getting that little bit of recognition for the work and the difficulty that you faced, even though you're not qualified staff nurses, we were still there. We were involved. We were dealing with the same issues of worrying about bringing it home to your family, of trying to get in and out, of trying to isolate, of trying to be tested, of keeping your contacts down. We were dealing with all of that. And so getting that €100 a week made that bit of difference. And it was that nice to have that recognition. Obviously, pay for student nurses on placement would be the ideal scenario, especially when you see colleagues and peers in other degrees and they're getting paid for their placements. And what makes us so different, because we love the job that we do. This is a very caring profession, and it's something I'm very proud to say. I'm a student nurse. I'm very proud to say I'm going into the caring profession. We love the job that we do, but it's nice to get that bit of recognition for it as well. So those are the stories I have to tell. They're just a little snippet of what happened, but they are real stories, and they did happen, and they were difficult. And that's why just even the smallest, the €100 a week made a difference for us. Thank you.